This is Von Mancha. Thank you for joining me for an episode in 5 minutes as we discuss how codon bias defeats evolution. In this first slide, you note that DNA is composed of 4 letters, A, T, C, and G, and different combinations of 3 letters make up codons. These codons code for different amino acids, which make up our body's proteins. Proteins do the work in our bodies. On the right-hand part of the screen, you can see this process where in the green, 3 letters of DNA, GAG, code for a particular amino acid at the bottom in the protein chain, glycine in this case. There are 61 codon possibilities for 20 amino acids. DNA's discoverer, Francis Crick, called this a frozen accident, as though there was no particular reason for this, or so we thought for 40 years. This is a table of the different codons and the different amino acids that they code for. On the far left, you can see 2 brown amino acids, leucine, and they're coded by 6 different letter combinations. Evolution assumed these codons changed randomly due to mutations. Now we know there is a codon usage bias. This refers to the differences in the frequency of the occurrence of codons in the DNA. In this evolutionary model, we can see in the middle left portion, there's a purple amino acid called leucine, and that it's coded by 2 different codons before and after mutation. In this case, we have a UUA, which goes to UUG. But since there are many different codons for the same amino acid, this caused the same amino acid, leucine. Since these mutations are not changing the amino acid, the protein in the individual itself is not changed. Therefore, natural selection and survival of the fittest does not work on this. They are considered as neutral. If you go down lower, you can see that the mutation where the leucine is changed to phenylalanine. In this case, a UUA goes to a UUG. These mutations were considered in evolution to be non-synonymous, meaning not the same. And these were the codons that were changing the body and causing natural selection. For 60 years, evolutionists assumed that mutations were random. We now know that cells guide these mutations to cause the predominance of GC letters. This is called GC bias, and this in turn causes the codon bias. As a result of codon bias, all our previous thoughts of evolution are changed. In the middle, you see BCG, which stands for the GC bias, which then causes codon bias. And on the far left, it biases our estimates of positive selection or natural selection. So our previous estimates of natural selection are now changed because of this. On the far right, we can see it also changes the phylogeny trees. So when we try to develop history changes in the DNA, we have to take into account codon bias because it's no longer according to mutations and evolution. On the bottom, it reemphasizes this because the biased estimates for selection changes how the DNA is expressed. It's an example of this. We can see that optimal codings, which are in green, code for the codon bias. And you can see on the top right area, there's a correct folding to the protein because of codon bias. Whereas on the bottom, if it was depending upon evolutionary view of codon changes, it would cause misfoldings of the protein. So codon bias defeats evolution's random codons due to random mutations. Instead, we have a teleological adaptation of the cell and organism to their surroundings over deep time. For more in-depth information on this and many other topics, Join me in my Facebook group, Darwin versus Lamarck.